In Korea, there's a game considered legendary called Chronicles of Arcana. After years as the most played game, one day it came to an end and was discontinued. On the same day the servers were shut down, the world of Chronicles of Arcana materialized in the real world. This rupture in reality also caused the monsters that existed only in the game to emerge in the real world. Humanity was on the brink of extinction, but with the game materializing in reality, the players' characters from the legendary game were brought into the earth. People who played Arcana transformed into their characters in the real world. It seems that when you awaken and become your game character, it's not you who controls your body. Now you're the one giving orders to your character and watching your character live in your place in the real world. Our protagonist is named Lee Hoyeol. His character in the game is named Granfell Cloud Arpeus Romeo. When he was a teenager, Lee Hoyeol created his character in the game. It looked like a hideous thing, but that was just the initial idea. At the time he played, his parents were poor, so he couldn't play the Chronicles of Arcana game for long because the augmented reality equipment was expensive. Even renting the device was expensive. Because of this, his in-game character only reached level 55, which was very little compared to other players at the time. Cloud's backstory was quite simple. He is the successor of a noble family that met the same fate as the Uchihas, and he was the only survivor of it. Now, to get his revenge, Cloud has become a demon hunter. Cloud's personality reflected that of a 12-year-old boy when he created Cloud. After Arcana appeared in the world, awakened players started to be paid for protecting the Earth from monsters. However, Cloud, besides being weak at only level 55, is a demon hunter class. In the game, the demon hunter class was less played because the class skills were too weak against normal creatures. See the demon hunter against the normal monster. Now see another class fighting with a sword. A bit of a disadvantage? At the beginning of the game, while all classes were doing hunting missions, demon hunters had to do food delivery missions to gain experience because they were so rubbish at the start. However, when it came to killing demons, no class compared. They were the monsters, and that's the only positive point of the class. That's why other players always saw this class as a useless one. Now, in reality, Cloud discovered that the demon hunter city was destroyed and all demon hunters died. Maybe Cloud is the last living demon hunter. He stopped playing when he was a child, and his character was already weak at the time, back at level 55, and he continued without evolution years ago. And even after the Earth became arcane, his awakening as Cloud was delayed. Arcana was brought to the Earth years ago, and many things were destroyed, but people were able to rebuild things with the players, and everyone's life returned to normal. However, currently, the negative emotions of people are serving as food for the demons that inhabit the Earth, possessing people and starting a new era of danger with demons as protagonists. Our story truly begins with a person looking at their phone, waiting for the protagonist to arrive. It's the group leader. Cloud arrives 1 minute late. The leader greets Cloud, the new member of the group. Look at the leader's hand. It's huge. It's bigger than his head, if you look closely. Cloud joined a group to do rupture cleaning missions. Ruptures are portals that normal humans can't see or be affected by. Only the awakened from Arcana can see and interact with these portals. Cloud, gazing at the rupture, notices that the portal they are heading to is at 19.8% destruction progress. When it reaches 100%, the rupture breaks, and the monsters are released into the real world. Have I seen this somewhere else before? It's not unfamiliar solo leveling, right? Hence, players are allowed to freely invade any portal they encounter to clean everything inside. But then there's also the risk of getting screwed over inside. However, the average level of the other players doing these ruptures is 200. These groups there, it's impossible for him to even get close. Imagine getting in. But luckily, there are also awakened people who are at a lower level, so Cloud managed to join a group. Inside the rupture, their group keeps formation, but they don't find any gnolls, who were supposed to be right there at the beginning. The healer of the group says, his leader somewhat strangely, that it must have been another group that passed through here before. So there's nothing to worry about. Everyone agrees and continues peacefully. Cloud was the only one who didn't find this normal man, but even then, that doesn't mean much. village. Further ahead, they encounter a group of gnolls, and the group leader starts running like crazy. The group didn't even understand and just followed the guy. Cloud just keeps an eye while the fight happens in front of him. Lee Hoyeol, who is not Cloud himself, was glad they didn't need him in the fight, also because he's useless from being so weak. However, Cloud, on his own, opened his inventory to choose a weapon. There were only junk. The intense fight in front of him, a stray arrow that he ended up dodging. No big deal. This wretch wasn't weak, was he? As creatures were raining arrows on the group and were starting to break through the tank's defenses, the group was screwed. Meanwhile, from afar, the team leader stood still without helping. The most screwed member of the group started yelling for him to help. In this distraction, he got hit from behind. When the blade was almost entering his eye, the monster was struck by an arrow so strong it died. Cloud used the weak bow he had in his inventory and did that. The blonde guy thanked for the help, and the other one, back there, was almost fainting from fear. While the other fought, other monsters were going to attack her, who was further back. The girl froze with fear. In the blink of an eye, Cloud was by her side and shot another arrow. With that, the girl snapped back to reality. She cast an area fire magic and shot fire in all directions. With this attack, you could even have some monsters for dinner. I'm sure, to this day, I haven't seen anyone turn down a barbecue. Only vegans. After the damage, Cloud tells the girl to check if the other members are okay, now that there are no more monsters. The member who almost lost his eye went to confront the group leader. Why did he suddenly go after the monsters and then stand still without helping? He wanted an explanation for why he did that. It was a very simple answer. The guy even starts laughing in front of them. The member who almost went blind gets even angrier because he finds it funny. As for the girl back there, she gets even more terrified because her magic fire went out completely, man. With that, Cloud's natural enemy ability activates. It increases the user's power when fighting demons, meaning Cloud realizes that their leader is possessed by a demon. The buffs from his ability being activated prove that their leader is now a demon. For the rest of the group, even with the change of place and the appearance of the leader, they don't believe in that demon stuff. One of them questions. Everything around starts to darken, and suddenly the screams are heard. The reduced mindset effect, when a demon is watching, affects the group. When you see someone acting crazy on the street, is it because a demon is watching? Cloud tries to land a dagger blow that was easily defended by the demon. The demon questions if Cloud doesn't mind killing the leader's body. That's because the demon only possesses that body. To defeat the demon, it's necessary to kill the host's body. Cloud didn't even listen and was thinking about how to get through the armor. He tried to attack and missed. Cloud stabbed the dagger in the creature's neck from behind, even managed to crack the armor, but it wasn't enough. The demon tries another attack, shouting that humans are false. That's because Cloud was friendly to this human he possessed and now doesn't hesitate to try to kill him. Before he could finish speaking, he took another dagger attack he didn't even see coming. Cloud hesitated at nothing, and besides, his blade is made of silver, and it seems that's bad for demons. Cloud is known as weak, but something doesn't seem right about this. Ruthlessly, Cloud says he doesn't talk to prey. Therefore, trying to dialogue is pointless. What gives strength to the demon are the negative emotions of the person. In the case of the leader, it's the feeling of inferiority compared to his older brother. Even though his older brother doesn't see any problem with him not being strong, he torments himself about it, right? This feeling made a demon influence his actions, and now he was almost managing to possess the poor guy's physical body. He was screwed. At that moment, he also realized that because of this, he put his friends in danger, which makes the leader's mindset even worse and all this atmosphere weighing. So Cloud cuts off the guy's hand. The demon now got angry with him. How come he does this in another human's body? Cloud looks down disdainfully and says he understood. He sees the body owner holding the demon for him to attack himself. Cloud recognizes this as the leader's pride. And if the body owner is holding the body for him to do that, why not? Cloud gives him a straight cut and cuts off the head from the body. Incredible, but the twist was that the guy was all in one piece, trembling in fear. And Cloud tells them all to be proud and not to be afraid of demons. Another thing is that the attacks of a demon hunter only affect demons. Their leader, named Xiaomin, was in shock, realizing he was almost killed just now. Well, in the end, things worked out, but Cloud saw that loot is what really matters, meaning he's still broke. Sometime later, Xiaomin went to inform the guildmaster about what happened inside the rupture. Initially, he hadn't believed the report, but after his younger brother confirmed the story, he even dropped the tea on the floor. Folks just see the guy's level while Cloud is level 55, he's 368, man. He ranks 11th among barbarian players. The guy is the leader of the Gaon Guild. His room at the top of the building is guarded by 2 lockers, to give you an idea of the guy's importance. Xiaomin also says that he gave up the idea of being a fighter like him and will take over as the guild's analyst. After so long, his brother asks if it wasn't a lie. Xiaomin gave up comparing himself to his older brother and realized his true role, and that was thanks to the protagonist. According to Xiaomin, if this guy who saved his brother was able to kill a demon, his stats must be great, especially his mentality. Moreover, if he used the dagger, it's impossible to say which class he should be, which makes him even more curious. Now that his brother has accepted his role as an analyst there, he handed him the contract to sign. And I just found out that I was wrong, folks. Taemin is the younger brother, not the older one. I got confused here. He says he's grateful to his older brother because he only got where he got because of him. Xiaomin is glad to hear this from his powerful brother. However, upon reading the contract, something surprised him. Returning to Cloud, he just realized that he's now at level 67. Defeating that demon earlier raised him more than 20 levels. It's funny seeing him take a shower when he doesn't even need to. But since he has to follow Cloud, he goes and mimics everything he does. When it's time to sleep, Cloud says the room is a mess and cleans everything. Not even after coming back from a dungeon does he rest. The guy's a machine, and after cleaning everything, he cooks his own food, 100% healthy. This reminds Lee Hoyeol that the traits he gave to the character Grandel Romeo Cloud and the rest of the name that I don't remember were applied to him in reality because of Cloud's healthy habits, meaning he's getting healthier as a result. Apart from the awful class, Cloud is talented in magic, can mimic enchantments just by looking at them once. He's intelligent, healthy, handsome, meaning this guy is perfect at everything he does. While he was making a list of the things he is, a message arrives for him, an invitation to join the Gaon Guild, which is Xiaomin's guild, the guy he saved earlier. He doesn't even read the message because he's stubborn. He says he'll ignore it now because he's busy. If it's longer than 2 lines, I don't even read it. In the game, Cloud hasn't evolved much, but he has plenty of potential for it, so he's going to make up for lost time. He has to research some tutorials there. If he wants to learn magic, he'll have to study. The response arrived at the guild with just a no for them. Xiaomin doesn't know if he received the invitation to the other guild for him to refuse like that, in that way. Taemin is now getting angry. The top guild in Korea offering a deal where he would get 95% and the guild 5%. There was no way to refuse that, and the guy refused with just a no. Xiaomin is kind of speechless. Cloud ignored the message because he was focusing on watching magic tutorials on YouTube, and as he studied the concepts, he made several amazing conclusions. The real protagonist sees the super complex notes of the concepts and is even happier that the kid is a genius. Now that he's sure of Cloud's great potential, the protagonist decides to distribute the skill points he gained when he leveled up. He distributes the points and focuses on mana, which was a bit low. Moreover, the protagonist remembers Cloud's past as the last survivor of his clan, even though he wrote that past for him. The protagonist decides to put a point in luck for Cloud. It's just his intuition, which must be a good thing to do. The next day, when brushing their teeth, they notice a notification has arrived. Maybe it's not a coincidence, but he was lucky to receive a class mission. He immediately starts researching about class missions. After Arcana came to Earth, it became very rare for someone to receive a class mission. The reason for this is that the NPCs who give missions in real life died, so there's kinda no way to have a mission. How did he get one? I don't know. Researching on the PC, he sees that when someone receives a class mission, it even makes it to the news. As an example, the rank 1 Paladin class giver who received a class mission. Class missions are like a mission given only to one person among all those who have the same class. When Guiver received his mission, it was reported that countless other paladins who were anxious went into despair because they weren't chosen. In other words, a class mission is something so unique and rare that a level 67 shouldn't have gotten it. This confirms that Cloud is the only remaining demon hunter, so at this level, he already received this mission. When Cloud became a demon hunter in the game, the admission ceremony was to climb to the top of a 1,000-meter mountain climbing on vines. After that, They had to live in messier facilities than my house. To eat, they had to go down the mountain they climbed to eat and then climb back up. Just remembering that makes the protagonist sad. Cloud, who lived through it, defends, saying that it makes him stronger. I don't know what. When they opened to see what the class mission will actually be, it was the worst possible. There's a place here called Anti-Arcana Union, a branch of Korea. It's a facility formed by the former game developers who were hired to analyze arcana information and help players. The guy's main job is to identify when the game updates will be incorporated into the real world. Right at the end of their shift, they identify an update, and what they see chills everyone's blood. The office turns into chaos. Some talk about quitting, others advise turning off their phones because they'll be flooded with calls. The update that shocked everyone is a new demon that is coming soon, the new Rift, the fortress of Count's family. It's only missing Dracula in the name. New monsters in the update, like the Bloodied Bandit level 230, Bloodied Beasts levels 220 to 250, Count Ascura's Soldier level 300, Count Ascura's Knight level 350, Count Ascura's Devotee level 390, and the Mighty Count Ascura level 430. Mounts there and the Prota level 60. The two of them think that even if they gather a bunch of top rankers, it won't be enough. They consider the best. They are sure that this rift will burst and all these monsters will come to Earth. Meanwhile, Cloud received his class mission called Prologue of the Counterattack. The first part is to eliminate a demon. It's done. The next is to train his weak body. It's in progress. He drinks his tea and continues reading. Run 20 kilometer, 1,000 push-ups, 500 pull-ups, and 300 squats. He'll have firm glutes. The next day, Cloud was doing the training and then suffering from the pain. Days passed, and as they did, he managed to do the daily training more and more quickly until finally his goal of training his body was achieved. A status window shows that the daily goal was completed for a week and rewards him with 2 more vigor points and 2 more dexterity points. It's known here that items to increase a status point cost a fortune, and just with this mission, Cloud earned 4 grace points. His doubt now was whether he would gain more status points every week. If so, he'll do the mission 10 times a day, if necessary. Cloud can't even drink water, all messed up. At this moment, he discovers the news about the latest Arcana update, about how guilds are giving up on the new rift that was released, and reported that the level 430 raid, where the boss is Count Ascura, a vampire demon. It was said on a podcast that this raid is the hardest in history. In the newspapers, they say the same. The most worrying thing is that the top-ranking guild refuses to try to close this rift. Basically, that's the strongest thing in history. The guild players don't even want to try to enter because death is the fate. The biggest problem for players is that demon-type monsters get stronger with each battle they win, plus demons debuff opponents. It's normal for the player to be at least 10 levels higher than the demon to be able to face and defeat it. In other words, Count Ascura, who is of a higher level than all the players in the world and is still a Super Saiyan. Damn it, with each fight he'll get stronger. Now consider Cloud's class mission. The third step, defeat a vampire demon. The only vampire that currently exists is Count Ascura. The guy was frozen with fear. He's obliged to defeat an invincible enemy now, and while the protagonist feels fear, Cloud, the brave one, only feels the urge to fulfill his vengeance objective against all demons. The next day, after the protagonist got over his fear, he was wondering where this Count's rift appears. It's in Russia. To get there, the best way is through the Mage Tower. In this tower, there's a magical portal that leads to anywhere in the world. And this tower is in Korea, and that's why several guilds from all over the world have branches there in Korea. He immediately checks on Google Maps and takes the bus to the tower. It says there it's 1 hour and 21 minutes. While the protagonist researches how to get to the place, Cloud just goes without thinking. Leaving without planning is dangerous. The protagonist was relieved when Cloud stopped, but in fact, he had forgotten to bring tea for him to drink. Meanwhile, in front of the Mage Tower, a crowd of reporters is there to find out what decision the guild will make. The big guilds taking the portal at the tower is the fastest way, but it consumes a lot of mana from the person, so it's likely that the rankers will go by plane to Russia. But to the surprise of the reporters, the Gaeom Guild was in full force at the Mage Tower. They surrounded a group from all sides to ask the obvious, to ask if they will go to this new rift and if they have a plan to face the Count. The guild leader, with a little smile, tells everyone that yes, and there's no problem. They'll enter the place, which is a lost cause, and try their luck, right? The brother was even sweating cold with fear of the leader saying what he shouldn't. But his talk is very honest and correct. He says that all players are cowards in abandoning their responsibilities, and suddenly the second group appears too. Locke, level 399, rank number 2 hunter. This guy is the master of the Shining Guild. One of the members of this guild says that Gaeom's words are too harsh. Locke says to ignore it. He must just be nervous because Gaeom's guild was the top one in Korea and recently has been losing ground to foreign guilds that came to the country. Because of the Mage Tower there, and seeing another guild coming too makes Gaeom's leader nervous, his older brother then says that he doesn't need to care about the others and should focus on their work, passing through the reporter's gate. Xiao Mim asks about that guy he was supposed to recruit, since that day he forgot to look for Cloud again. Meanwhile, Cloud took the bus to go right to the Mage Tower, and on the way he was studying more lessons about fire magic. The guy is a dedication machine. There are 3 levels for activating magic: inspecting mana, interfering with mana, and then manifesting it. On his first attempt, he makes a flame in his hand inside the bus and scares everyone. Of course, the driver warns that using abilities inside the bus is dangerous. Cloud replies that it would be dangerous if he weren't there, but respectfully puts out the fire. Cloud then decides to take a look at his abilities. He just learned a fire ability, but it wasn't added to his abilities list as it should have been. When he finally arrives at the Mage Tower, he doesn't get anything from there. Watching everything carefully, he sees what must be the portal, and that makes him feel something strange. It's as if he could manifest the magic of that portal himself, and when he was about to try something, an unaware person comes without looking ahead and bumps into Cloud and throws him into the portal. "Look ahead, you idiot." Taemin, angry with an employee, says that person looked a lot like the Cloud they were after. Poor employee. He was sad because of the scolding he received. The leader of Gaon starts the strategy meeting. He says that the rift looks like this image. The outer circle is the territory of Count's family and where everyone should die if they fail. Meanwhile, in Russia, journalists are live streaming the state of the rift. The YouTuber is doing a live broadcast showing the location when, walking around, he gets angry, saying he found this entrance first and tells him to leave. Cloud is just a little angry because of being pushed, says he's impatient now, and walks away, snorting with anger. This rift seems like reality is breaking. At the entrance, it's shown that the recommended level is 240 to 270. The destruction progress is already at 9.7%. Cloud's only concern is that it could be a little warmer from here on out. Cut to another place with a player destroying some monsters. The hot group tells her to slow down because it's hard for them to keep up. The girl's name is Leona Belusi, level 348. If you want a continuation, leave a like on the video and comment below, and I'll bring you the next part.